3:47 a.m. Renee Castillo is wide awake, staring at a ceiling fan she can't afford to fix. On the nightstand, a cold cup of coffee from yesterday morning, still full. Next to it, a letter she still hasn't fully opened. Parent Plus loan servicing. Balance, $41,220. She got a raise this year, 4%. She did the math twice, hoping she'd done it wrong. The raise didn't even cover the rent increase. Forget the loan payment. Here's the question keeping her up. Am I the problem, or is the number lying to me? If you've ever asked yourself that same thing at 3 a.m., don't scroll past this one. Because the honest answer isn't what your bank, your boss, or your favorite finance influencer wants you to hear. Welcome to Volky ECON 101. I'm Volky. And this is Jason. Today we're doing the brutal math nobody explains. Renee isn't lazy. She isn't bad with money. She works 6 days a week and still falls behind. And she is not alone. Millions of people are stuck in the exact same math problem right now. Productivity is up. Corporate profits are up. Stock markets keep hitting record highs. And yet paychecks feel like they evaporate before the month is even halfway done. So where did the money actually go? It didn't disappear. It moved. Not in one robbery, not in one secret meeting. Quietly, on purpose, over 50 years. By the end of this video, you will never read the words strong economy the same way again. Here's what's coming in the next 10 minutes, and it isn't going to be comfortable. You'll see the exact 2026 number that just hit its lowest point since records began in 1947. You'll see why the average CEO now makes 281 times what their typical worker makes. You'll see exactly where a year of Renee's missing raise ended up. Hint, not in her account. You'll hear Jason ask the exact questions you're probably asking right now. And you'll get the boring, unglamorous system that actually helps you fight back, even inside a rigged game. This isn't a doom video, it's a math video. And math, unlike vibes, doesn't lie. Stick around, because once you see this system, you cannot unsee it. Let's start with why this is happening to Renee, to millions like her, and maybe to you too. Here's why this matters right now, in 2026, more than almost any year before it. New Federal Reserve data just confirmed workers are getting the smallest slice of the economic pie ever recorded. In early 2026, workers received just 54.1% of national income, the lowest share since tracking began in 1947. Right after World War II, that number was above 65%. Even before the pandemic, it was still near 58%. Meanwhile, corporate profits are not shrinking. They're near record highs. Workers' share of corporate income fell from 79.1% in 1979 to just 71.3% in early 2026. That missing slice didn't vanish. It went to shareholders through buybacks, dividends, and bonuses. This isn't a story about one bad company or one greedy executive. It's a story about a system that quietly rewired itself over 50 for years, one policy at a time. And right now, mid-2026, that system just hit a brand new record, which is exactly the moment Jason walked into the studio and asked me to explain it simply.
Okay, so wait. If companies are making more money than ever, shouldn't our paychecks be going up too?
That's exactly the right instinct, Jason. For about 30 years after World War II, that's roughly how it worked. So what changed? Bargaining power changed. Unions got weaker, companies got more mobile. Somewhere in there, the old deal quietly broke.
That sounds kind of huge for something nobody really talks about.
It is huge, and it's measurable. Stay with me, because I'm about to show you exactly where your generation's raise went.
Let's go back to Renee for a second, because her numbers aren't unusual. They're average. Since 1979, productivity in the U.S. economy has grown by about 90%. In that same stretch, typical worker pay grew by only about 33%. That shaded gap between the two lines isn't a rounding error. That gap is Renee's missing raise. If pay had simply kept pace with productivity, economists estimate typical workers would be earning noticeably more today. For every dollar of value workers helped create since 1978, they've kept a shrinking slice of it. So who got the rest of the slice? Let's follow the money, starting at the very top. In 1965, the average CEO earned about 21 times what their typical worker made. A big gap, but a sane one. By 2024, that ratio had exploded to 281 times the typical worker's pay. CEO pay itself grew more than 1,000% since 1978. Typical worker pay grew about 26% in that same stretch. That's not a leadership shortage. That's a power shift. And it happened on paper in plain sight. Nearly 80% of CEO pay now comes from stock, not salary, which means the incentive isn't running the company. It's raising the stock price. And there's a fast way to raise a stock price that has nothing to do with building anything new. Buybacks. A company buys back its own shares, fewer shares exist, and each remaining share looks more valuable on paper.
Okay, hold on. Buybacks. Explain that to me like I'm hearing it for the very first time.
Sure. Imagine a pizza cut into 10 slices, and you own one slice. Now the company buys back and removes 2 slices.
So now there's only 8 slices left, and mine is worth a little more of the whole pizza.
Exactly. Except you don't own a slice, Jason. Executives and big shareholders do. Workers almost never do.
Oh, that's rough.
It gets rougher. Stay with me. Next, we go from company balance sheets to Renee's actual kitchen table.
Back to Renee's kitchen table, where the buybacks and the balance sheets finally get personal. That Parent Plus loan for her son's tuition carries an 8.94% interest rate, plus an origination fee over 4% right off the top. That means before a single dollar reaches her son's classes, thousands of it disappear into fees and interest. This is the debt bridge. Wages don't cover the gap anymore, so families borrow to cover it instead. And here's the part that hurts. Every interest payment she makes is someone else's income. Her stress isn't imaginary, and it isn't weakness. It's her body running on survival mode. When money is scarce, your brain treats every decision like an emergency. That's not a character flaw. That's biology. That's also why the first $1,000 in savings feels so much harder than the next $10,000. Once there's a buffer, your brain shifts out of emergency mode. The next milestone gets easier, not harder. So here's the brutal truth. You cannot fix the national labor share from your kitchen table. But you can build your own exit ramp off the debt bridge, one boring habit at a time. Step 1, automate the moment money lands, not the moment you feel motivated. Step 2, build a payday routine. Same 5 minutes, same day, every single payday, no exceptions. Step 3, the 15-second rule. Before any non-essential purchase, wait 15 seconds and ask, is this me or is this stress talking? None of this fixes the system. It just makes sure you're not the one paying for it twice. This isn't about willpower. Willpower runs out by 9 p.m. Systems don't.
So it's not that Renee's bad with money, it's that the whole game was quietly rebalanced before she even sat down to play.
That's it exactly. Wages were never just about how hard someone works. They're about who holds the power at the table.
That's honestly a little infuriating, but also kind of freeing. Like I can stop blaming myself for the whole economy.
Exactly. Blame the structure, not yourself. Then build the boring system anyway, because that part is fully in your hands.
Real wealth was never the leather seats at the dealership, or the $500,000 house everyone calls a starter home. Real wealth is quiet. It's the number in your account that lets you say no without flinching. Some people call it your walking away money, the amount that buys you options instead of applause. Renee isn't rich yet, but she automated her first $50 last week. That's the first step off the bridge. The system that moved her raise away from her took 50 years to build. Her exit plan took 5 minutes. If this video opened your eyes even a little, that's the whole point. Confusion protects the system. Clarity doesn't. Please subscribe to our channel and join the club of people who stopped blaming themselves and started reading the fine print instead. And also hit a like to our video to support us and be able to see someone who's interested in finance. Have a good day and stay tuned us. This is Volky, and this is Volky Econ 101.